Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, Norman. Hello, Paul. Only two of you so far.
How's Betsy?
Yes, how's Betsy? And how's Otis? Because Paul's daughter's dog's Otis.
Oh, okay.
He's a big... is it a chocolate lab, Paul? Otis? I think he's something like that. Because often Paul used to pop him and Otis in at Christmas card time.
Wow.
So I haven't drawn the tightrope and I haven't drawn the man. And Jackie and I were discussing that it could end up looking like E.T. if we're not careful, if we put him in. But actually it's quite a nice scene without, with the purpley rocks and the and the moon. We might use a credit card for the rocks, as Paul asked earlier,
Credit card box.
because they're quite big and chunky, so they could work.
Which is slightly different to saying credit
Black
cards
lab.
work.
Yes,
Black lab.
a black lab. I'm not getting comments again.
Well, I have a grand dog who's a beagle.
Oh, nice.
They're into everything they want, they beagles.
He's so damn naughty. There's no other word for it. He really is. He's just not funny.
I'm going to go and see a cockapoo.
Hiya, Norman.
Finish here.
Hello, Norma. Old and grumpy black lab. Oh, that sounds like me.
I think it's a St. Helens. And if you're out looking at him, he walks
Squeaky.
his nose like that way off the ground.
Nice to have you all with me today.
That's it. I dare not. Because he'll just go,
Quite a simple palette today.
then he won't bother coming back.
I've got here, do you know what I have? I've got ultramarine, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, cadmium red, and you might want Payne's grey, or you may not want Payne's grey. It's up to you. I probably won't use it. I'll try not to use it. And relax. So I will give you 15 minutes to draw, but I couldn't find, I traced this one because I couldn't find anything big enough and round enough. It's frustrating because it's almost tea plate size. It's saucer size, is it? Saucer? Something like that. But I just thought this would be different. It might be an easier one for you to do. Oh, it's an autumn wood next week with sunshine and shadows. I'll show you what we did this morning in acrylics. So it was an acrylic class this morning and we did a little blue tit. That was quite nice to do. It was a challenge, but it was nice.
Can you see it? Oh my goodness, that's a
Do
challenge.
you know, mine's coming up and back doesn't look like that, do you?
It was a challenge.
Does it not look like that?
It was supposed to be art for the anxious, but I think it made everybody more anxious.
That was, yeah, it certainly did make me anxious.
What, nearly as anxious
Art
as
to
that?
make you anxious.
Yes,
Nearly
that's
as
what I should
anxious
call
as
it.
that drawing waterfall last week.
Yours was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Looked way better on the photo.
Everything
As for
always
fruit.
does.
As for fruit.
Oh, do you
so
know,
pleased with the fruit.
I've not seen the fruit yet. Let me have a
Wow.
quick look. I'll have a quick look at your fruit. We did a bowl of fruit in the drawing. Well, half a bowl of fruit in the class yesterday.
Teas was beautiful.
I did-
Right, let me have a
I
look.
did a background.
Hello, Joe.
The grapes look like snowballs.
It was Wednesday yesterday, wasn't it?
Just wasn't.
Oh, Rob, I love yours as well. Did you see Rob's?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing. Dee, that's lovely.
Told me not to draw ahead of you.
Yeah. Mind you, Heather's was lovely as well.
Yes.
Not the one-
And Norman's. Gosh,
They
you
were all
all
good,
did.
weren't they?
You all did so well. It's lovely.
Weird.
the rocks when the light is behind the rock.
Oh well, just because the moon's out, it doesn't mean that the sun's gone. Because it's not black night, is it? It's like I think it's sort of like twilight. Because the moon isn't glowing, is it? As such,
No, no.
it's not like the iridescent glow. So I reckon the sun is setting opposite, or wherever.
Well, yes. Well, that would account for why we could see the dogs.
Yeah.
I'm happier now,
Okay. Good.
because I was getting worried about it. I was thinking, how come has someone done Photoshop?
Oh, Paul's used a cereal bowl for his moon.
Lovely.
Clever.
Done what?
He's used a cereal bowl to draw around his moon.
Oh, that makes sense. I traced it.
And me. I traced it because I had no other.
No influence on the colours.
I had nothing round enough. Oh.
Yes,
So this could be an early finish. Sometimes when I say that, it never ends up as an early finish.
No, it can't,
But
because I could have gone and picked the car.
you'll have to loiter.
Get arrested.
No, don't hang around on the corners. It does look like that shop's gone
yes. Yeah.
because all the shelves are almost empty. But I think it's just been abandoned now. Wonder if they've moved on somewhere else or what.
There's a lot of competition, isn't there? for
The
that
awning
kind
was
of-
ripped off by the fairground.
Yeah. Oh,
Right,
really?
yeah, half of the awning. It's a
There's lot of
shame.
competition though, isn't there? Because that
There
matches
is.
fresh clothes from the floor as well.
It's a shame. A couple more minutes then. Excuse me for yawning. Yeah, so it's an autumn woodland with shadows next week. I don't know if I've got the photograph. I have printed some of it off. Sneak preview. That's next week's. A lovely autumn colours. That'll be nice. That's next week's thing. I like to give you a bit of variation. It's good to have a bit of variation. Ah, you use a smaller paper, Joy. Where are you today? Are you back at Starport? La 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 la. Do you like Jackie's dress, Dee? It's very Halloween.
I was looking at that, I love that fabric.
Then it's good then.
For the benefits of you on Facebook that's not in the room, Jackie's wearing a lovely black Halloween dress with moons and pumpkins and ghosts, and because 'tis the spooky season soon. Oh, in 10 days' time, isn't it? It's on a Sunday, Halloween. So, ultramarine, yellow ochre, burnt sienna, cadmium red, and maybe Payne's grey. Just depends how dark you want to go with it. Now, some of you might not have done credit card rocks with me before. Well, it's only showing us 3 of you. Now, I know there's more than 3 of you on here. Because I know we've got Paul, we've got Norma, we've got Norman, we've got Joy. Well, that's already, and we've got Joe, so that's 5 of you. So why am I That's how bizarre is that? We have been looking at other options of streaming, but I don't know. Oh, blimey! A yawn, yawn. Right.
This is not my father. It's my brother. My brother's making this like this, so it's probably what it was about.
Turn my palette round. 'Cause it's mainly going to be this end that I'm going to be using.
But not anymore. No.
You might find it easy doing it on smaller paper, Joy. I don't know.
That's why
The rocks might be a bit tricky.
Oh, that's your children.
yeah. I didn't plan for it.
So he's what was the plan for you.
He was opposite.
Right then,
Moon was opposite.
I'm just going to. I'll wet my squirrel.
I'm wetting swirls. Right, I can't. I'm behaving now. What are you doing now, Barry? What are you doing now?
I'm just wetting my squirrel. That's all. Because we're going to do the moon first, and we're going to kind of do it wet in wet to get the cratery things in. And it's quite good that we've got a big moon. So I'll wet my moon. And it won't matter if you go over your rocks, really.
No.
Because it's going to be darker. At this point, you could go over anything, but we'll try and be careful. I'm going to go in with a little bit of yellow ochre, because it's kind of a creamy moon, isn't it? So we'll go creamy.
Pretend it's a harvest moon.
Yeah, I saw there was a wonderful thing I ages ago, and a photographer. It took him 20 odd years.
Pictures of the moon.
Yeah, and he
Colours.
the different colours. Yeah. Was it 10 years it took him to get all of the different colours of a full moon? Because it's full moon last night, so this is kind of appropriate. We're in the full moon this week. I might go a little bit stronger, because we do know that watercolours dry 30% lighter.
Do
They do, and I wish I'd have told you all sooner. Right, so now I want a bit of ultramarine and a little bit of burnt sienna. So it makes a blue-grey. And I'm dropping in the blue-grey. So this is ultramarine with a little bit of burnt sienna. I never realised, now Norman, you will have known this because you're very into your space and planets and stuff, that the southern hemisphere sees our moon upside down to how we see it.
Yes, weird.
And I can't get my head around
What
that.
are you putting in with that?
This is ultramarine and burnt sienna now that I'm dropping in to get the...
No wonder yellow ochre and burnt sienna didn't work.
No, ultramarine and burnt sienna.
Right, I shall leave it to it then. Very nice.
You're in tomorrow, aren't you? Tomorrow's
Yes.
normal. I'm just getting confused because of half term.
Go and see Doggy now, haven't I?
Oh, I don't know. Is this your job now? Is it better paid than this job that I do with
Yes. Yeah.
you? Is it actually?
Yeah, I've already had 2 bottles of wine.
Oh well, if I could have paid you in wine or something, I could have. That would have saved me a fortune over the last 8 years.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Jackie. Thank you. Oh, you see that bit's already dried. I mustn't have given that much of a moist a moistening. I'm going to have to drop in. It's very bitty, isn't it, this moon?
And there's not much at the bottom.
No, it's much lighter at the bottom.
Yeah, when we went to Australia, it didn't look like our moon.
No, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Moon was pretty wrong, I have to say.
I didn't even see the full moon last night. I had my Asda delivery. I know. Well, I had my Asda delivery at about, I think he turned up about 9:30, but they can never find my house. So I have to be poised on the phone. And they're usually down my lane somewhere, and then I have to look for the hazard lights and then use my torch on my phone to flag them down.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind, but I literally live on the junction, so it's not like it's a difficult house to find, but because there's no numbers, our village is all names.
I have a friend who's
Like posh
from
things.
Sweden
Oh yeah,
and hates houses with no numbers.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like it when I fill a form in and it asks for the number and I haven't got a number, I've got a name. I just added some slightly dark, but we'll see how we go with this.
It's dried.
I know, it is quite. It was very blustery when I walked through the park this morning. Very blustery. I'm gonna let that dry naturally to just see. Now, technically, I guess you could. There's some white spots on it, isn't there? I don't know what they are, but there are white spots. And it's going to look really strong because it's the only colour we've got. Now, what will happen, fingers crossed, is that when we put the sky colour on, it will change, and when we put the rocks on, that will also change. But I'm going to let it dry naturally so I can just see the shape and everything on there. Yes, sorry Paul, it is being filled with yellow ochre. The whole moon is a soft yellow ochre. I'm not leaving it the colour of the paper. It'll give it a bit of a glow. So I'm still without a shower. My house is only geared to give me one human right at a time.
Yeah.
Waiting for a part. It is fixable. It's something my landlord said it's a valve or something. But I said to them, I said, look, normally I will repair bits myself in this house. However, when it comes to electrics or water, I won't.
Yeah.
I don't trust myself. I know nothing about them. So no.
No, I'm not going to play.
No.
I don't play. When the kids were little, I developed a theory about electricity for them. That electricity is actually made of little sparks with glue, and they run very fast. So the sparks that work at the washing machine are really good runners, and they run round and round and round and round and round and make the washing machine. So the tumble dryer, the sparks run round and round and blow the hot air out. And you've got to turn the plug off. Otherwise the sparks will jump out and eat the carpet. And
Yeah.
that's bad.
That's clever. See, when I was about 8, I watched my dad install our shower, and I also watched him be thrown across the other side of the bath, looking rather shocked to himself. So I thought, no, I won't. I don't mind. I will do plumbing. I'll replace a tap or something.
Yeah.
But I won't do electric and plumbing where they mix,
No.
or heating. I don't do anything like that. I mean, I don't have to do anything. I rent, but I'm not a whingy person because I've got a very good deal where I live, and I don't like to cause a scene. And I felt really bad about messaging them, but I feel I ought to have a shower.
Well, yeah.
And I knew it wasn't like you need a whole new shower. I knew it was something basic. The way while I was half lathered, it just decided
Well, you
to
just
stop.
stopped.
Well, no, I had like 3 drops coming over on my head, and it all just was gushing out the bottom of the shower, and I thought it was the hose that had come off.
Yeah.
So I took that off, fiddled with the washer on it, the rubber washer thing, and then put that back on, turned the shower back on, gushing. Did it 3 times, and I realised that the gushing was coming from behind the hose, not the hose. So I knew it was something internal, and I knew something had snapped, popped, or cracked.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to dismantle the shower. You know, it was already getting late because I'd spent all my time fiddling with it. I was
And you
late
were
for
all
work.
sexy.
Yeah. So that was not good. So when I dried off, I messaged my landlord's daughter, who's also my landlord really now, and I said, really sorry for bothering you so soon. I think they were more so concerned that it wasn't just constantly gushing. She said, can it be turned off? I said, oh, it's off when the shower's off, so that's why I know it's not serious.
Yeah.
When I turn the shower off, it's not on. But when it's on, it's coming out of the wrong place, and I can't really stand underneath the unit.
I can't get underneath.
No.
No.
I would have done if I could, if I hadn't have been in panic. But he reckons it's the shower head that got blocked. But I've got one of those fancy ones that have got the mineral balls in that softens the water.
Oh,
So
really?
it shouldn't.
I didn't know you could get them.
Yeah, they're mineral balls. They soften the water and increase your pressure. But I did have it on the high pressure one, so I don't know whether that combined with the fact that Thames Water were digging up the street further up the lane, whether there was like a drop and a peak in pressure very suddenly.
Or it just reached the end of its natural life.
Well, yeah, well this is it.
You know?
He said your shower's blocked, and I thought it isn't blocked because it's only 6 months old.
Yeah.
Not all the lime scale in the world isn't going to block
And
that.
if it is blocked, then those mineral balls are awful.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
You know, let's be truthful. Because that doesn't work.
But I don't think it is blocked because there's no real lime scale on the shower head, not like my previous shower head that was just green and white.
It's funny because everyone complains about the lime scale around here, but I grew up in Kent,
Oh, okay.
and this lime scale is nothing compared to Kent because it's chalk.
You see, in the West Midlands, in the Black Country, we have Welsh water with
Which is
Severn
really
Trent,
soft.
which is really soft and it tastes so sweet and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
But
but you then can't get rid of the lava.
no.
Because I used to, before we were married, I used to go and see Tony's parents who lived near Cardiff, and I'd sort of lather up my hands, and then I'm stuck with this stuff on my hands
More.
that I can't get off because I was used to really lathering up the bar of soap.
Hello, Judy. Oh, you missed the start of the class. We've only painted a moon, which is just wet yellow ochre, and then ultramarine and burnt sienna dropped into it while it was wet. So don't worry. It's not necessarily going to be a horrifically hard one today. I like to give you easy options every now and again. Very randomly, I know. Have I even... I haven't even done a green tick on this one. But this should be the green tick. But the autumn wood next week's going to be quite nice. And we'll try and do it sploshy. And then tighten it back up again. A bit free and then bring it back in with shadows.
Yeah.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm waiting for the moon to dry so I can erase my moon line. Have you painted over it? I'm just going to soften it. I still want to be able to see it. enough. Because when I paint the sky around it.
Yeah.
Now, I think the sky is a really interesting colour. Because it is not blue, it is not black, it is not grey.
What do they call that, teal?
It is kind of a teal. Because it's got that creamy glow, hasn't it? So my moon's still wet. I don't want to...
Don't go near it, not with blue.
No, I don't. I'm going to leave it for a bit. It's not even half past. So if you wanted to catch up, Judy, you have got the option now because I'm going to be going slow because my moon's still wet, and I need a nice crisp edge. So we might. Would you let's just relax.
Chillax.
I did a gouache portrait of Angela Lansbury.
Oh. Pleased with it?
I am. It's on green card. So now I've printed off Judi Dench, Maggie Smith and Doris Day as they are. Well, Doris Day's dead now, but she was 95.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do older Hollywood celebrities because it was Angela Lansbury's 96th birthday the other day,
Yeah.
and I did a really old painting that I did for her 90th, which is pretty rubbish now. And I thought I'd do a new one, and I'd try using that green card for portraits. It works really well with skin
I've
tones.
only ever really known her as an older lady.
Oh right, yes, she was
And-
beautiful as a young actress.
Oh, she's stunning.
Beautiful big eyes.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Because she would only have been, because I can remember it in Bedknobs and Broomsticks, which is one of my
Yeah.
favourite films, but she wouldn't have been that old then. She'd have only been my age in the 60s,
Yeah,
wouldn't she? Because I mean, if she's 96 now,
yeah.
60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 91. Yeah, she'd have been in her late 30s, early 40s then, but she looked older. And she was acting with, was it Peter Tomlinson, who was older.
Yes.
And I think that,
She was no spring chicken in that film.
no,
Eglantine.
Eglantine Price. I used to, and I spent half of my childhood standing at my wardrobe trying to get them all to move by singing the magic spell, which I can still remember. Triguna Macoides Tricorum Satus D. Substitutionary locomotion, that was the
That's
spell. Norman's tree last week, yes.
Mm.
Everybody, you know, I thought you all did a cracking job with that farm and tree. I did it again on Monday evening, and I tried to keep it the same. Still a bit damp. I'll wait a minute. We've got loads of time. My aim is we're going to go nice and slow. We'll get the sky done before 3, and then we'll do the rocks afterwards. And I might ignore the tightrope walker. I think he's on the unicycle, and we won't do it because that line does not look level. You know, it looks quite precarious.
I think it's being drawn on.
No, I screenshotted this off a video that somebody had taken of him doing it, so it's real.
Do you know why would you do that?
I have no idea.
I'm not being funny, but why?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's not something I would do for fun. I wouldn't find it fun at all.
Oh.
I'd struggle to do it even if I had to get across to the other thing. I'd rather like...
I struggle walking on the lines on the pavement.
I couldn't... If I was stopped... If I, on my way home tonight, was stopped to do a sobriety test, I'd fail. Because I can't walk in a straight line.
No.
I have no balance. I'm probably better off doing it drunk because I think I've got more of a chance of getting across a straight road.
My balance is so bad.
I'm not very gainly. I'll show you because I know I showed the Wednesday class and I haven't shown everybody here. This is the Shade and Tone Mixed Media set by Derwent, and it's all like sanguines, browns and greys, and you get 3 pencils: a sketching pencil, a black pencil, and a sort of sanguine terracotta
Sanguine.
It's kind of like a blood kind of colour. It's like a
Sanguine,
brown
yeah.
blood.
Yeah.
Brown blood,
Yeah.
and they're all water soluble. It's about 30 quid for a set. But if you like just doing, if you like the Renaissance pre-Raphaelite sketches of figures and hands and stuff, that would be really nice
And you
to
could-
do.
It's almost like a sepia tint on
Yeah.
a drawing.
Yes, and it would work really well on that green card actually.
Would it?
Yeah. Green or grey card. Because there's a technique called grisaille, which is
Yeah.
where you use a grey surface and you paint using black for darks and white for lights, and the grey surface is the middle, and it's to make it look like a marble statue or something. So you just paint, it's basically grayscale, but you've got your mid-tone is your grey surface. So you add your darks, which is your shadows, and your white, which is your highlights. But they also do a different one on natural, it's called craft colour now, which is kind of parchment colour, biscuity beige, and then you use reddy browns, blacks and whites to do
Do that.
that. It works really well.
You've got a pen that no one knows when I talk. Really off-putting.
Right, now I think the edges are dry enough. It doesn't really matter about the middle, but what I really don't want to get is cauliflowers in the moon. We'll avoid cauliflowers in the moon. Now I am going to wet around the moon as carefully as I can. Now even if the sky dries, it will prepare the paper.
I'm having to paint it over my line.
Yeah. And I'll wet the rest of the sky as well, because it is drying really super fast today.
You know, I think so many people got used to buying online, they've forgotten about coming into shops.
Well, the thing is, they're not buying online either. Online sales nationally have dropped. And in-store nationally has dropped. I think most companies are seeing, I don't know, 40 to 70% drops in sales on all platforms. Right, so now we want a bit of yellow ochre. No, this is for the whole sky, so I'll need a bit more yellow ochre and a lot of ultramarine, and this should give us a nice teal colour. I was almost tempted to put in cerulean blue, but I chickened out. But if you had cerulean blue, you could put a little bit of it in if you wanted to just give it that green tinge. Now I need a lot of colour actually. And you might feel like burnt sienna is what you need as well in there, but just play it by ear and see how you go. And why is it I have no customers until I want wet in wet, and then they turn up? So in my paints this will granulate beautifully, so we'll get lovely little tinges of other colours.
I've added some cerulean, that's better.
Yeah, you can add cerulean if you've got it, it will give it an extra glow. I'm painting over some of my rocks. And I'm going to have to go down and serve. It won't be wet when I get back, but never mind, I'll be back in a minute to cry over my moon. See, I don't get interruptions when I'm doing wet in wet at home. Back in a minute. It's not as dark as I wanted, but I can't really fiddle with it now. It is dry, but I think it will. I'm gonna. Oh, I don't know. I could trust the process, because let me just mark that out and just double check. With the dark rocks on, it will change the colours, won't it?
Yeah.
So I will trust the process.
I think I'm going to have to hair dry mine.
That's fine, give it a hair dry. It is quite a large area of sky, isn't it?
I'm thinking maybe if I can get it dry, I can glaze over it.
Yeah. You see, I am really tempted to go darker, but I don't know if I want to go darker.
Do a very big rock.
What, that covers the moon?
Yeah. No, the sky.
Huge rocks. I'm going to let it dry a bit more and just see.
I've got green stuff. There's no doubt about it. It's green.
Green.
Believe me. That's, look,
Oh, that's quite a nice colour though.
but it's still green.
Needs a bit more blue on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I might glaze it.
Yeah. You see, this is where I'm at. I don't know how much to. Let me dry it with a hairdryer and let's see. If I can go over it a bit darker again. But what I don't want to do is lift off the colour that's underneath, so that's quite important to not do. So if that's the case, I need to ensure that I've got a lot of paint mixed up. Because the longer you fiddle, that's what lifts off the colour, is the fiddling. So you can't wet the paper, you just need to go for the colour. So your colour is wet when it's on the brush. Let's try that one. That's a better tone. Double layer sky. Now I'll just let it dry.
Yeah,
It's a better...
that's a better blue.
Oh, that's nice, that is. That's lovely. What did you put on that?
Just straight ultramarine.
Just straight ultramarine over the top.
Yeah.
Well, you see that. Do you know what? I think what is different and more difficult about this sky is it's a huge expanse. We've very rarely done a sky that's almost half of the paper.
Yeah.
And it's one tone. There's no light bits. There's no dark bits, and there's no clouds.
Yeah.
So there's nothing to fall back on, really, when you think about it.
And trying to get a flat colour with watercolour.
Yeah, it's a flat wash. I mean, it would be difficult to get a huge area like this in gouache or acrylics as a flat colour, and they are flat colours.
Yeah.
Because it's a really large area. If I was doing this in gouache, I would probably find a piece of card the colour of the sky and paint the moon on top of that,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
paint the sky. It's tricky though.
I mean, annoyingly, if you look at the picture, it is lighter towards the bottom.
It is a little lighter. I am going to put I've left a gap here for my rocks, but I am going to put some painted rocks in the distance, so we've got background, midground at least. That might work.
Cunning.
That might work. If at the moment, if I do my rocks too straight and not lumpy, it'll look like Gotham City or something with the moon behind. And then if I do the man and that went wrong, I would have Batman.
Yeah.
And I don't want Batman, really.
Or we could be really, really naff and just have bats.
Bats, that's Halloweenish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Rob? Rob put bats in one of the drawing classes, I think, didn't he?
Didn't he put them round Durham Castle? Durham Castle?
Dudley Castle. No, he did for Dudley Castle. He did not a knight and a horse, didn't
Yeah.
he? But so I'm sure one of the drawing classes we did bats. Well, we didn't do bats, but bats were painted. I'm going to get the hairdryer on this just so I don't get cauliflowers. It's more likely to happen on a second glaze, where there are elements that are slightly damp, and it will lift up the colour underneath. That is a much deeper colour for me. I'm happier with that tone. You see, it needs that yellow ochre in it, I think, doesn't it?
Yeah. Otherwise, it's.
Because if you use, let's say, you used ultramarine and Payne's grey, you wouldn't really get that eerie sky feel of twilight. It's the same as when it goes. You know, in the winter when you can tell it snows because it goes more ochre-y, doesn't it? The clouds go cream. It's got that cream light. This is exactly like that, I think. So yeah, 2 coats. But whenever you do a second coat on acrylics, on watercolour, you do have to make sure you've got the paint made already, because what you don't want to do is keep stopping, starting, adding a bit, then going back with a wetter brush or drier brush, because you'll be lifting off the undercolour. It is a lot harder to maintain the tones, I think, anyway. Gosh, it's 5-3.
And all we painted is a blue sky.
Yeah, that's it. And what, you know, there's no, so this is what makes me think it's definitely twilight, is because no stars.
Yeah.
It's not dark enough for the stars. Oh, nice. It's made it a bit darker underneath your moon, which is good.
Yeah. I hold it upside down.
Run
Yeah.
in the right way. Because again, we're seeing things because we've got a lot of white paper on here, haven't we?
Yeah.
That will be gone afterwards.
I think we're going to have a bit of rocks jutting out on the right hand side.
Yeah. Well, I just want to have a look at the reference image just to see if there are rocks. There are rocks behind it, aren't there?
Yeah.
Because if you look at that, you can definitely see
Yeah, that rock.
there's that paler bit is behind rock, isn't it? I'm going to do it like that. I am going to do it like that. Yes. I am going to. So I think I'm going to mix. I'm going to use my shadow colour with burnt sienna, or you could go ultramarine and burnt sienna and add a bit of cadmium red. Basically, we just want something dark and rocky. But this isn't for these rocks. This is for my little strip here. I need to make it feel natural. Because they are more like monoliths, aren't they? Put that on. It's not very light, but might lift it out. I don't know. Because it does mean that all the other stuff is going to have to be darker, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that means I'll have to squeeze some Payne's Grey. Actually, if I use a damp brush over this, it might give me like a dry brush in reverse. Oh, it does. A very slightly damp brush, but it's giving me texture, look, because I'm just skimming it over the... Ooh, I like it. And we'll go a little bit lighter. I shouldn't suck my brush. I shouldn't have told you because none of you knew, because there's only one of you in the room.
Awesome.
Well, that's quite nice actually. It gives a bit of relief. And it's 3 o'clock. Are you having a hot chocolate, Dee?
No, I'm having a tea and
You're
I've
having
paid
a
for
tea.
it.
You're having a tea.
I've paid.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be back shortly.
you not? Brandy.
Who would say no?
Yeah.
So how's everybody going?
Could I have a squirt of Payne's grape?
Mm-hmm.
Danko. I missed that in the box.
Yeah, I can't get correct Payne's grape pigment.
Really?
Hmm. What I might do is do another one where I mix ultramarine and burnt sienna together to make the Payne's grape.
Mm.
I've got to make lots of paint up, so I'll do that. Right, so I've got my credit card. I'm going to do one rock at a time. I've got Payne's grey, and I'm going to add a bit of burnt sienna to that, I think. Oh, for goodness sake, I've got another customer, have I?
Don't complain.
I think they just watch me come upstairs. I wouldn't mind. Maybe I think I'm going to go with a bit of red in there as well. Right, now with credit card technique, your paint, this is where it gets tricky, because your paint can't be too wet and it can't be too dry. So I'm only going to do a section, although this is quite wet, so I can probably do more. Now, what's good about credit card painting, if it works and when it works, is that you get really good texture, because it sort of, the card drags over the surface of the paper, which will have dimples because it's watercolour paper. So for me, this is too wet. If it's shiny, it's too wet. And of course, I should have done the left hand side one first. However, we all know I never do things like that, and it's very annoying for me. I drag my sleeve over things, but I'll have a turpentine while that's starting to dry. I need it to go from glossy to satin. Let's something like that. Oh, I've got a customer. This is going to really make me cross. I'll be back in a minute. very sales pitch. A card machine. And this is dry now. That's so annoying. I'll have to start this one again. Wasn't even a real customer. So hopefully you can see what the effect should be. So I'll have to do another colour over the top of that later. Keep it nice and dark. But you see the lifty outy thing that we did earlier on the background rocks, you could do that on some of these rocks. But I do want to make it darker, and I want more layers than just the odd two. I want to put an extra layer of rocks in the foreground, which will be darker. So what I do each time is I wipe my card off before I do the next layer, and it means that I can do some really interesting textures. And even just letting it scrape over the surface works really, really well. Except I've got a little bit of an extra weird bit there that I'm going to have to turn into another rock. But with credit card scrapings, you can add other colour back onto it again. I'm going to let that dry for a minute and have some tea. It looks quite dramatic. Sad that you can't get your internet properly, Jill, where you are, but I think you did say you were hoping to join.
I've got a cockle in my paper. I just get a line.
Oh no.
Won't. Oh, there, let's see if I can.
Right. Did you all see the thing I posted on the shop page the other day about that sculpture
Yeah.
that looked like me?
He'd look like you.
I actually messaged the artist on TikTok and I said I took a double take because I think it looked more like me than the guy that was posing for it. And he laughed and he said, "Oh my goodness, yes, it does look like you." It's just so weird. Right, I'm just waiting for it to dry because I don't want this to... I'm going to add some more darks on here and then do another layer on top. But can you see how it's made the moon glow? Now we've got the darks on. Mind you, I thought we'd finish like mega early, but it's only 20 past. Well, it's 20 past already. Right, so I need to add more colour on this one that failed. I don't want to do too much, and I will add some more linear extra bits. So I'm not going to chase everything. So yeah, nice autumn wood next week. And then go back in with some dark in front of this one. I'm going in with neat Payne's grey, but I will be using Payne's grey, I think, to do details on the rocks. But again, we don't want loads of details, but we need some. That's a little bit too wet. Basically, if it's too wet, what will happen is that it will just fill in and you won't get any texture. The rougher your paper, the better the effect. Credit card rocks are tricky to do. I cannot pretend they are easy, and it does take a lot of practice because you're having to do it just at the right time. I might get a bit of gouache on this as well, white gouache, to drag over some extra bits. I want to create highlights. I could use a gel pen, I guess. How's it coming, D? Oh, that's gorgeous. They're rockier, but they're the wrong colour. I love your sandstone colour that you've put in.
That was just straight
Cad red or burnt sienna.
Burnt sienna.
Yeah, I might wash some
Almost
burnt
neat.
sienna. Yeah, I will wash a bit of burnt sienna on some of this.
I'm getting to the point where I might possibly need some new burnt sienna in my pot.
I know, I feel so bad about it running.
Oh, no, don't. Let's just see, because it's better. Where are some of those really light bits
Yeah.
with burnt sienna?
See this new burnt sienna I've made, look.
I don't know how to do that.
I just mixed less binder with it.
It's still squishy.
It's squishy, but
It's nowhere
solid.
near as runny, is it?
No. it's such a delicate balance.
I do actually quite like it running.
Do you know what? So do I, because it loads on your brush more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But to be honest, that once you wet it, gets
It'll still
it
load,
still loads really, really well.
Yeah.
Whereas the others, because I was looking up how, you know, other people that make their own paint in watercolours, and all of them say just let it air dry. They don't bake it. So I am doing it right. It's just that it's the consistency that's different to what we're used to. I think that's all it is. Which I really like, by the way. I do like how my paints work. I really do. But in terms of when we post them out and things, we just have to be a little bit more careful.
Gotcha, 'cause you can't.
We can't guarantee which way round up the postman
No.
carry the packages. Because even putting a sign this way up makes no difference.
Well, it can't, because it goes through machines. doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all conveyor
They're not
belts and
usually good at reading.
no. So I've added some more burnt sienna on top of that, which gives me a better stone colour. And then what I'll do is I'm going to let that dry and go in with a number 4 round to actually put some extra crags and things in. But we've only just had our tins delivered. We've been waiting 2 weeks on our paint tins.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So they've just arrived, so I've got to quickly assemble because we've got 4 orders to put out. And then I'm going to have to jump on and remake all the paints again. But I think I will do, because if I get an almost equal quantity of ultramarine and burnt sienna, I will get a lovely grey, but I'll call it Barry's grey because it won't be Payne's grey, because Payne's grey's got to be black and ultramarine. Yeah. You see, because I made an error with the original Shadow 2 colour, which was the original Shadow colour, I've kept it in. But I might fade out Shadow 2.
It's very violet.
It is very violet.
Yeah.
It's good when you glaze on something, but the main Shadow colour I like. But Shadow 2 is a lot redder, isn't it?
Yeah, it's purple.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Glazed on, but I think in terms of a tin, the Barry Grey would be more useful as well.
Yeah. I think I'd like the darker shadow.
Yeah, and a
Payne's
grey. Yeah. Okay. Because we're new to all of this, so we're trying to work out what works best and what colours work well. But originally, you see why there are 2 shadow colours is there was never meant to be 2, and that's why the tin only has 12 colours on the label, not 14. Because I used the wrong red. I didn't read the right label. I used crimson instead of cadmium.
Yeah.
And I'd already made a batch, and I thought, we'll keep them. But I will do an ultramarine burnt sienna mix next, which will be really, really, really nice. And I know a few of you want full pans, and I will do some full pans as well there. I have got them there, so if I've got next week, you see Tuesday at the moment this year, every other week I have no class all day until the evening, and then alternately I have an acrylic class in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So Tuesdays is my paint making day, because I can literally get in at 10 o'clock and just make batches of 10, 15 of each colour.
Yeah.
And let them out to dry across all the tables, because I don't need the tables until Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
And then they're sticky, but then I can transfer them and then hair dry them and all of that kind of thing. I really enjoy making it, and I do love these paints so much. And I haven't put on our pumpkin colour is available from today, but I need to add it to Shop Happy.
What's he doing? He's
I'm doing some lines on my credit card rocks in Payne's Grey to accentuate it. These look like the rocks that you'd see in Roadrunner, don't they? You know, that
Yeah.
Coyote would be standing on the top of, or falling from. Yeah, what? Yeah, that would work. Instead of our tightrope walker, if we dropped him down, because he's got his arm up, we'd have to have like a little tiny parasol with,
Yeah.
or a little sign that says help or
Coyote.
mummy.
Yeah.
Wily Coyote.
We went to Monument Valley.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
United States, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. You could almost hear the theme tune to The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
I mean, I think the person gives it scale, but I don't know if I'll put him tightrope walking. You can all do that if you wish, but I just think it might be a bit much. And it's make or break. If I was going to do him, he would be in pen. After sketching it in first, because it's quite big actually when you think of the size of him.
Yeah.
Joy says she puts acetate on the top of her tin and it works really well for transport, like a little sheet of plastic over the,
Oh yeah.
because it will kind of stick to it but not enough and
Yeah.
create
that
a
would work
seal.
brilliantly.
I might do that when I
Yeah.
transport them. Thank you, Joy. Because I do love the colours and I love the granulation of them, and I don't just mean that because I know I've made them. I like how they work.
No, it's very gratifying when you make something that's like, it's like baking.
Yes. You see, if I made my own paper, and I have in the past made paper out of tumble dry lint,
Yeah.
but not on a. I wouldn't be able to do it on a mass scale.
Well, that would cost you a fortune in electricity.
It would. I mean, I do go through. I do tend to find a lot of tumble dry lint, but
I saw somewhere someone had felted it
yes, that would work.
and made felt things.
I saw somebody had got like a wire brush for their cat, and then they felted the they needle felted the cat hair into a middle little model of their own cat. But I'd have to wash it first, I think.
I hate taking the hair off my brush.
Yeah, I know, it's funny even when it's your own.
I saw somewhere that someone had been making really beautifully made, note the beautifully made, jewellery with teeth.
Oh.
And I have to be truthful, they look awful.
Oh.
Because they were teeth.
Yes. Could you tell they were teeth?
Yes.
No.
And somebody had made a necklace out of their child's milk teeth.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd like that.
And it wasn't funny. Put it that way.
No.
It was not a
I mean,
nice-
I don't have children, so I don't have that closeness of anything or anyone. I've had a pet, but I wouldn't necessarily want my pet's teeth
Oh,
around.
it was gruesome.
Yeah. No.
Not for me personally.
I tell you what happened when I was at primary school. My sister had an Alsatian dog, and we had, I think we were doing like the Victorians or something, and we had somebody in with a spinning wheel,
Oh,
and
wow.
I took in the Alsatian fur and she spinned it into a yarn.
You know, so I could almost cope with that.
Yes.
But it's like the Victorians do, or did, these mourning as in MOUR,
Yes.
lockets and brooches.
Mm.
And I've come across them in antique shops, and my reaction is ick.
Well, you can have. I mean, there is a demand, but not a high demand. But there is a demand for animal or human ashes to be added to paints to paint their favourite scene or their car, and or where they used to do like sitting or walking or holidaying.
I've seen some very, very beautiful jewellery where they've used human ashes, and they've put them in sealed containers.
Yes, I've seen some where they've turned them into diamonds and precious. Well, not diamonds, but precious. Well, semi-precious stones, because they put them under pressure or something, don't they?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to use white gouache instead of gel pen. Did you want any white gouache, Dee?
Yes, please. This is just not, I don't know why it's gone.
Oh, that looks
I think
nice.
it's too regular.
Yeah, you need to unregular it.
Yeah.
That's a lovely colour moon. Your moon looks more pinky now.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
It would help if I hadn't splashed it.
No, it looks all right. That.
Yeah. But no, it has gone a bit pinky.
Right. Apparently, this message has just cropped up on my phone. Kellogg's cornflakes are doing a vintage Christmas box. And my member of staff thinks it looks like me in a white beard.
No.
I don't think it. I do look like the Coca-Cola Santa. The original Coca-Cola Santa from the 50s, because I actually superimposed my face onto his,
Yes.
and it looks identical. I've got the same nose, but I don't think I look like that one. He looks more like my dad, actually, that Santa one. Now, do I want to use white, or shall I use white mixed with a bit of burnt sienna? I think a bit of burnt sienna. What day is it tomorrow? Friday?
All day.
Because this is where I can add extra texture for moon glow. On the tops. It must have been moon glow. How's it coming on? I bet the texture's the trickiest thing for you all, isn't it? But you know, it's one of those paintings which we have from time to time that relies on the brushwork, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can't hide it. Where can it go? Where indeed can it go? Whereas next week, it's not really anything at all to do with brush. You know, brush strokes will come into it, but because there's a lot of foliage and shadow and light and distractions, it almost works better for some people because you're concentrating fully on the aesthetic of a painting, and you can hide, you know, if there's an area that goes wrong, you can stick a tree in front of it, or you can do this in front of it. With something like this, you don't have that option, do you?
No.
And I do like throwing these in occasionally, not to be cruel, but to help us get to grips more so with brush work, usually dry brush, have a drink of tea. Thursdays is a day I tend to talk literally for 6 hours constant. Oh, customer. I will be back in a minute. I'll just do a few more highlights on this, but I don't want to go over the top with it because I'll end up wanting to darken it again. Puritans, the local football team, has made massive news. I'll have to quickly have a look at it before. Oh, does that look too light now? Oh, I don't know. Let me have a quick look at the Banbury Guardian article, because I know some of you like your footy. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh, Banbury United's Emirates FA Cup Round 1 tie against Barrow has been selected for live television coverage.
Oh, blimey. How to make a team nervous.
Yeah, ITV. It's not often we have lots of good news, so that's good. It kind of looks a little bit spooky. How is yours? Oh, there's a customer in the shop. I think it's my neighbour actually. Right, let me. I'm gonna have to go back down. You can fend amongst yourselves, though, can't you?
Because I've had any customers for ages. I've got a customer.
Do you know? I think I ought to moan more. Right, be back in a minute. Again.
Oh,
Well, there's plenty of time anyway. Oh, it's nearly 5 to 4. It's not plenty of time. Clear off. Go on.
Go away.
Go away, guys. shopping this time. How are you doing? Oh, that's lovely. Have you changed your mood again?
No,
Really?
no, it's just changed
That
colour.
it's changed colour with the sky, hasn't
Yeah.
it? Right. I actually don't think I'm going to do any more to this because I think if I do,
I'm going to fiddle.
I will end up overworking. Maybe just a little bit on the edge.
Just a little bit there.
Because I want it dark, but I also want it to feel. Look at the heels now. I want it to feel rocky. I think. I can't.
I've learned that you've got to make those tops really thin.
Yes.
If you make them too thick,
Well, because we're looking up at them, not down at them, aren't
Yeah.
we? That's the thing.
I mean, you can make them thick if you were going to do it snowy.
Yes. But it's thinner lines and it's the texture that makes the difference with this.
Yeah.
So hopefully you found today very useful. And there is, I'm not going to put my man on because my moon is glowing enough, actually.
I think the man is contrived.
Yeah.
I could do a little man standing on the top going, yay, I made it.
Yes. Well, that's it. I mean, as long as you kept the size, because he's what? He's not even a little finger width, is he? He's a pencil width.
Teeny.
Yeah. So next week, as I say, is the a beautiful autumn woodland with sunshine and shadows, which I've shown you the reference image for. Tomorrow afternoon is Caswell Bay in the Gowd. Do you remember doing that one with the stormy sky and the sea and the
yeah.
cliffs, like electric colours? Nothing over the weekend. Monday, live from Waddington, is Lakes, Reeds and Sunset in Watercolour. Monday evening, they'll be doing this. Tuesday evening is a boat on a lake at sunrise in Pencil. That's going to be tricky to do because it's got to be dark. Wednesday's drawing class is the portrait of a squirrel, and it's only the top half of a squirrel, not a whole squirrel, holding a nut. Next Thursday morning is a colourful nighttime sky with a tree silhouette using acrylic inks. And then next Thursday is your autumn wood with shadows. So I hope you've enjoyed it today, and I dare say you found it more of a challenge than you thought it would be from just seeing the reference image, because you're having to do more with your brush strokes. But I've enjoyed it.
That's good.
And it's brought me luck because I've actually had some customers with decent sales today.
Good.
By decent sale I mean anything over £3. So that's good. So apologies for having to.
Yeah.
What's that?
Even though it messed with your wetting.
Even though it ruined my rock, I bought it back though with some darks and some white gouache, so it is a bit trickier. I think I've got it too light now. If I wanted to darken over the top, I'll show you what I'll do. So if you're in a situation where you've got too much light on a picture, because obviously I've shown you, haven't I, when we do stuff and we want it softer, we use white chalk, don't we?
Yes.
If you want it darker, we use charcoal.
Oh yeah.
So it's there. Look at that. Look at the difference there. So I've got my highlights, I've got my darks. I've got a filthy finger. But it's pushed it back.
Yeah.
Because I was worried it was getting a bit too light. And the good thing is with charcoal is that you can still use a putty rubber to get rid of any excess that might have landed where you don't want it to. I've got a dirty finger, but I can really push that in and just tone it down enough There we go, look. See, that's better now. I feel a bit happier about that. I was getting a bit panicky that it wasn't going to be bright enough. Well, yeah, I'll show Dee's. Lovely. So here's Dee's. You see, Dee's is nice and dark and rocky. Look at that, it's gorgeous. Look at that glow of your moon, it really is glowing. That's lovely. It's changed colour twice just by changing the associated colours around the edge. Yeah, now it's got like a nice pink glow.
Yeah, I didn't use pink.
No, that's gorgeous, that. Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Right, so thank you everybody. Hopefully I'll see you online soon. Don't forget the online shop is always open and our real life shop is open 10 till 4 Tuesdays to Saturdays. And if ever you need to see me, you've got more of a chance on a Saturday because Jackie isn't in, so you'll definitely see me. And the first and second Saturdays this year I teach in the morning as well. So Saturday afternoons are often a good way if you needed to see me in person. I don't know why you'd want to, but in case you do, that's a better option for you. So thanks ever so much everyone. I look forward to seeing what you've created, and I will take a photograph of this and post it under the reference section that I put on this morning. So have a great weekend. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. I think we're in for a cold spell, aren't we?
And wet.
Cold and wet, yes.
Because now apparently the mushrooms are coming out since I...
Yes, they are, from your forage.
Yeah, well they weren't there when I foraged.
Oh.
Well they were.
But not enough of them.
But not, we didn't have a big haul.
But yes, I saw a photo of you
I think that's really spooky.
foraging, because I've got, my friend was on the course with you.
Yes.
So yeah.
We talked about it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, behind your back.
Oh, lovely. I like it. So yeah, they've got an allotment, those people have. So they do a lot of growing stuff. So the foraging works really well with what they grow.
What they already grow.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody.